What's up, guys? Today we're actually going to talk about what makes a bad anime character. I've gotten a lot of your feedback from Discord, your thoughts, and I'll be quoting a lot of people from that in this video. But before we talk about what makes a bad anime character, let's talk about a good one that I personally like. Deku. We know him from My Hero Academia. So I would love to hear your thoughts on it. Feel free to call now and let's see how it goes. Alright, how do you feel about Deku?
I really want to like Deku, but all he does is cry and cry and cry and cry and cry.
How do you feel about Deku?
Deku is a little
How do you feel about Deku?
I actually like Deku. He's come a long way since season 1, and he actually is really cool in season 2. He has some nice powers, fire and ice, and you know, the red and white thing going on.
That's not Deku.
Oh.
Deku has the green hair, main character.
Oh, green hair dude? Yeah, he sucks.
and cry and cry and cry some more.
So what really makes a bad main character to you? I really want to know in the comment section who that character is and why they're bad. Now when I say bad, I mean like characters where nothing they do can really make it better. For example, I watch My Hero Academia and I use the Deku joke from earlier. And we know Deku in season 2 and like later on in the series is way better, he's more confident, he's changed. But despite that, a lot of people say, hey, this character still sucks. I'd rather see Bakugo or Shoto or many other characters, you know? Because I admit Deku was a little bit, he was a crybaby. It was pretty annoying initially in the beginning. I'm with you. But despite the change, people still don't favor him. For me, a bad main character has to be the one from the irregular high school. The regular at the high school, whatever it's called. I always forget the name. I'm just gonna edit this dude in here. I never liked that guy. Like literally, he was so overpowered. He not only was he an engineer to make his own tech and magic, he was super fast, always had a plan, always had a strategy, and literally couldn't be beat. One thing I did like that someone pointed out to me in the Discord is that what made him cool, or what made the series a little bit more interesting, granted I did watch it all, is that when something new came up he didn't know about, like a new type of magic, a new type of enemy, he struggled with it, but inevitably he handled it like this. It really wasn't a problem for him. Another character I don't like, I'll have to honestly say Kirito. Now, I know Kirito from Sword Art Online was a beta tester, so it makes sense for him to have a little bit more knowledge, a little bit more experience, but this man pulled out 2 swords that no one else could do the entire series, to my knowledge, and I'm like, okay, if he figured out how to do it, why didn't anyone else know? You know, was it just that, oh, he's that chosen one? You know, like, I didn't like Kirito that much. Like, he was just too overpowered. I think I would appreciate Kirito more if we saw him go from like level 1 to level 99 and see that progression. Because I do like characters that progress. Deku came, he was weak, he got stronger. Series like Attack Hitman Reborn, we had a wimpy character named Suna. He stepped up to the plate eventually as the series go on. Despite how long that actually took, despite how slowly that actually was. But Kirito, we literally see him, what, episode 1 go to episode 100, I can't be beat. That's not interesting to me. Maybe it is to someone else, but it just didn't really do much to me. Another main character I don't like, and even though I really love this series, Ainz from Overlord, I said this before in the last video, it's just like he's cool, he's a strategist, but he's too overpowered. I love the side stories in the series, and I really feel like I watched that story or watched that series for the side characters, you know? Now, another anime I really love is One Punch Man. He's overpowered, but that's his gimmick. You know, that's the gimmick he's going with. And what makes One Punch interesting is what I feel makes every anime with the main character that's overpowered interesting, is that the side character story are so interesting, they're so intriguing. You know, there was Kamen Rider, there was Gino, there were many other people in the series that made it interesting. But One Punch Man himself, Saitama, didn't really make it interesting. He was just there for the comic relief. But to get on some of you all's comments, we're going to start first with Zephyr. Zephyr says characters lacking obvious flaws, or their flaws or unoriginal quirks. So what he described as unoriginal quirks is that in anime we all have these personality stereotypes or archetypes in a sense, right? Like you have these tsundere, you have the characters like Goku that eats a lot of food that's really strong, You got the clumsy main character girl. You know, like, those things that we see reoccurring. You know, like, Goku, for example, is like, I don't know, gone, where they eat a lot of food. You know, like, where they have a lot of similarities. Obvious character flaws. He says Kirito has an obvious character flaw, and honestly, I don't know what Kirito's flaw is. He has Kirito from Sword Art Online, let me clarify. But Kirito, you already know, like, he's just powerful, he's smart, strategy. Like, there's really not too many bad things you can really say about him. I don't recall Kirito making really any bad judgments throughout the series. He's just kind of put together, makes the smartest moves, and works it out with his friends, you know? Obvious character flaws, if they really don't have any, then that makes them not interesting. In the review I did, or better yet, in the video I did with Aku, he said even though he likes overpowered characters, or not overpowerful characters, Aku said even though he likes powerful characters, he likes them to have flaws that are holding them back. So we can see through the series how they're working through it, they're pushing through it, how they're going to change over time, and that's fair. Characters like that are fine. But when you have no flaws and you're just that nice, you really can't really do much with that. You can just focus on the side characters and see how they interact with him or her, and just kind of see where it goes. So I feel him on that. Characters without flaws really ain't the move. Unoriginal quirks. For me personally, for unoriginal quirks, I do like some tropes or some character personality types recurring. Like I said, I like tsunderes. They're kind of funny to me. I particularly don't care about the, okay, this character always gotta eat a lot of food to be powerful. I've seen that through video games and anime, etc. Like, I mean, that's okay. It's a feature, but it is done a lot. Zaldin says someone that's a bad main character in the show is someone who doesn't contribute to the atmosphere or the current storyline of the show. He didn't give an example, but I have a great example for this, even though it's a video game character. If you ever heard of Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy 12 is the perfect example of this. Now, the main character of Final Fantasy was Vaan, and within the story, he, you know, runs into like a princess, sky pirates, and all these other people, and his friend Penelo comes along for the journey. But Vaan and Penelo didn't have any effect on the story. They had no effect. They had no reason to be there. Now, the sky pirates, the princess, the knight, they all had ties to each other, connections, knew some of the same people, and this story went together. And Vaan's just kind of over there like, hey guys, you know, I'll come fight. So characters like that that really don't appeal or don't really affect the story, they're just kind of around. I don't know how true this is right now, but I've been actively watching Goblin Slayer, and you know, you have the Goblin Slayer main character where it's focused around people are looking for him and trying to talk to him. He's well known in the guild. And then you have the priest, right? The priest who follows him around and heals him and stuff. Although the priest does have usefulness in regards to like using shield and healing and stuff, and the story is obviously told mainly from her eyes, does she really contribute to the story? Like, I don't know her backstory in it. She might in the light novel, but I'm saying I think that's a good example of a character who's kind of just there witnessing what's going on, tagging along. So Vaan and that priest, they're there, but they really don't contribute much. I mean, they do their comments, they banter with the other characters that are important, but they're just kind of around, you know? It would be nice, hypothetically, if the priest actually had ties to Goblin Slayer or ties to the bigger plot instead of just going around. So I feel him on that in regards to it being the bad main character. Destroyander. Destroyander says the main character should have character. Lack of any characters just makes a boring character. And if that character goes on, develops, that's okay. But when a character is boring all the time, that's what he finds worse. Me, just in my opinion, it depends on how you do it. I can see that you could say like the main character should have character, you know, personality, integrity and stuff. But sometimes I like a character that doesn't have those morals. Like I've seen a few animes like, we'll say, Angels of Death, and one of the main characters literally is like, I'm trying to kill these people. You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of dark, but that man didn't have morals. He just wanted to get to his goals, and he was kind of messed up through the series. But that's aside the point. But it just depends on how you do it. Boring main characters, I wouldn't say I particularly am fond of them, but it just depends on what you do with them. Yummy from chat says, I think when characters only have one attribute about them, and they never get anything else, it makes a bad character. Basically, linear characters. How do y'all feel about linear characters? If I were to name one off the top of my head, and it's ironically from a series I don't care for, and I read a lot of this, by the way, Fairy Tail. I don't think Natsu changes throughout the entire Fairy Tail beyond learning a few moves and, you know, saying, hey, my friends, you know, like, that's a linear character that's done pretty badly in my opinion. I don't really care for Natsu at all. Not saying he had to make a major shift from how he acted, but beyond training and learning a few moves, he didn't change. Like, he was a pretty bad main character to me. But on the flip side, I'm a big One Piece fan. And, you know, Luffy is the main character of the series. Luffy from episode 1, minus him gaining new powers and, you know, the experience he went through, is the same Luffy in episode 900,000. And when I say that is, Luffy episode 1, if anybody talks to him, he'll just smack you down. In one of the latest chapters, without going in detail and without spoiling, he did the exact same thing against a very, very powerful opponent. And I was like, oh, wow, like, that just made me realize, like, Luffy never changed throughout the series. So I guess it just depends more so on the series. I wouldn't say the linear aspect alone makes a bad character, but it depends on how it's done. So, like, I like Luffy, he's completely linear. I don't like Natsu, he's not. I guess it's more so on the series for me. Let me know what you feel on it. Cody agrees with me completely. Overpowered main characters. I heard Cody likes Deku also. Shout outs to him on doing this thumbnail that I'm using. Death Reaper, he says, when the main character is overly arrogant and control obsessed like the main character of Charlotte. I haven't personally seen Charlotte, so I really can't comment on that one, but it just depends. I'll give you an overly main character I like that's control obsessed, and that would be Code Geass Lelouch. You know, it just depends on how they're doing it, but I do agree that overly arrogant characters in general, they're kind of annoying, but I love to see when they go from being overly arrogant to being humbled by either another character or losing a fight or something of that nature. But if they were arrogant the whole time, I'm with you completely. I actually am with you completely on that. Because, it's like, you know, it's like, chill out. You talk too much, you know? But that's the feedback I've gotten, the ones that stood out and gave some detail. What do you all think a bad main character is in the comment section? Feel free to give me some examples, and I would just love to hear your feedback. But with that being said, yo, that's another video here in the database. You all have a good evening and have a good night. See you later, guys.